Welcome to the Outdoor Biz Podcast, your home for inspiring conversations with outdoor insiders. Each week, author, speaker, adventurer, and outdoor industry veteran Rick Saez talks in-depth with iconic brand founders, sales and marketing pros, product designers, and industry rising stars. Listen in when Rick's guests offer actionable advice to land your ideal industry gig and grow your outdoor career. Catch us again when the conversation shifts to the hottest outdoor products, destinations, and the latest industry insights. And now, here's Rick.
Welcome to episode 309 of the Outdoor Biz Podcast. Please enjoy this replay of one of the more popular episodes from 2021 featuring Outdoor Prolink founder Gareth Richards. And may the spirit of the holidays be with you throughout the new year. We'll be back at it in 2022, kicking it off with episode 310 featuring Libsyn's Rob Waltz, a surprise guest on episode 311, and Hiker's Brew founder Zach Pekka on episode 312. And be sure to make time to get outside. Welcome to episode 283 of the Outdoor Biz Podcast with my longtime Outdoor Biz buddy Gareth Richards, founder of Prolink, brought to you this month by Creative Live. Gareth began his outdoor career as a guide and educator, then got into the online biz with planetoutdoors.com before online was a thing. He spent time as VP of Sales with Lowe Alpine and Mountain Smith and started Prolink in September of 2004. Wow, we were just kids. Welcome to the show, Gareth.
Thanks, Rick. It's been a pleasure to be here, and thanks for having me.
Yeah, great talking with you. I haven't caught up with you in quite some time. I think we first met when I was in Denver. Were you working at Kelty then?
I was probably with either Lowe Alpine or Mountain Smith.
Oh, you're right. Yeah. That's right.
Years and years ago.
Long time ago, man. We're veterans in this industry now. How'd that happen?
I don't know. I was days, weeks, months, years. Right.
That's right. We were kids when we started.
Totally.
Not the case now.
Totally.
So let's start off with how you were introduced to the outdoors. How'd you get into the whole outdoor lifestyle thing?
Well, as you can probably hear, I'm not in my voice. I am from a different part of the world. I am from Wales in the UK, and played a lot of rugby in school. And one of the things that interested me was really the outdoors. Right, in Wales, there's a lot of outdoor activities going on in Wales, and there was a girl, a 16-year-old girl, 17-year-old girl who lived on a farm a couple of miles away, and she was a kayaker, and she was on the Welsh slalom kayak team. And my mom actually asked her dad if she would take me kayaking on this little river in Wales, and I did, and I swam a bunch of times, but I was hook, line, and sinker on board, and
wow,
bought a spray skirt, bought a kayak, paddle, helmet, the whole 9 yards, and I was 16. It was pretty. Yeah, it was a long. So I've been a paddler a long time, and
do you remember the name of the river?
The Teifi, Teifi, the River Teifi in Llandyssil, which is the name of the town. How about that?
That's great. I'll link to that in the show notes.
The name of the spray skirt, the brand was Wild Water, and that was the brand. Yeah, and I bought it because she had a Wild Water spray skirt, so I had to be like her.
Yeah, that's very cool. That's a good story. And have you lost contact with her all these years later? Probably.
Oh my God, yeah. I have no idea. I should actually try to dig her up, but. After that, after in school, and at college, and I could do they had a minor in the UK. They have a major, which was environmental studies that I did. And then my minor was outdoor pursuits. And the main professor, and his name is Mr. Ian Lloyd Davis, and I held him on a pedestal. He introduced me to mountaineering, rock climbing, orienteering, and just more and more kayaking, and I was probably 18, 19.
Wow, that's great. That's a good story.
Yeah.
And so tell our listeners about Outdoor Prolink. What do you guys do and how does it work?
Well, Prolink is really a way for brands to connect with people who work in the outdoor industry.
Okay.
And those people are, they're mountain guides, search and rescue people who work in the, for outdoor brands, and on and on. And that's the demographic that we really look to. And we ask those people, we market to them, so we ask them to come to the site, and they apply for membership. We don't take anybody. We only take people who legitimately work in the outdoor industry. So we collect data on them, who they are, what they do, who they work for, their gender, their size, their information. And one of the things we ask them to do is send us some sort of documentation that tells us that they're truly working. So it'd be a copy of the pay stub, and they can redact, some of the, the figures,
the sensitive stuff.
They get paid. Yeah, But then if it's truly something that's, for example, this year, if it's a pay stub from April or May of 2021, then we'll approve them, and they get 12 months of membership, and then they get a discount on product.
Wow, that's cool. Feels like I'm getting some feedback on your end. Do you have the sound turned way up?
I do.
Can you turn it down a couple notches?
Yeah.
Cool.
How about that?
Yeah, that sounds better. Yeah.
Okay.
So that's
do that one again?
No, we're good. No, we're good. I'll keep rolling. Yeah. So that sounds pretty cool. Was this your? I remember you started this back in the day, right? This was your idea.
Well, I was a professor. Check this out. I was a professor of outdoor education at Prescott College in Arizona.
Oh, yeah,
Adventure
okay.
education.
Great school, yeah. I know a lot of people that graduated that school.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
So I was there for about 9 years, and my wife just graduated from medical school in Phoenix. And one thing led to another. In 99, I got invited to go work with Dave Secunda at Planet Outdoors. And it was a .com, an early .com. You probably remember it.
Yeah, sold to him, yeah.
And he raised a bunch of venture capital money and started this thing, planetoutdoors.com. And it was just too early.
Yeah.
So I was involved with that at an early stage. And it went under in 2020. And, we all went our separate ways. And one of the things I did, I worked for Lowe Alpine. I was the director of sales and marketing over there. And then they got acquired by Asolo. And I didn't have a job. So I put one thing with another and started Prolink again. And, dug in my basement and outsourced the technology part to a company here in Boulder, and started it in 2004.
Wow, good for you.
And I was pretty driven. My wife was had a practice, a medical practice in town, early stage. So we had all the chips on the table, so to speak. We were both entrepreneurs with a couple kids, and it was fairly challenging, out of the get-go. And we launched Prolink with 3 brands, and one of those brands remains on the site, Camp Climbing Equipment. So they've been with us for 17 years now.
That's awesome. What were the other 2?
Well, the other one was Optic Nerve, which is a sunglass company out of Colorado, out of Denver. And then the other one, I can't remember. They went out of business. It was a specific pack company for skiers.
Okay, interesting.
And it was a brand new brand, and I'm remiss by not remembering.
No, that's okay. That's okay. Somebody will, and somebody will let us know, and I'll put it in the show notes.
I know, right?
So you. So you started working with influencers before influencers were a thing.
Absolutely. I mean, when I was at Cornell University, and I ran the outdoor program there for a couple of years, and we had a pretty robust pro program there, and then at Prescott College, I was the guy who'd always call, the brand, be it Mountain Hardware or Lowe Alpine, to try to get a deal on a discount, on gear. And there was 7 of us who were part of that program in Prescott. So the interest there has been long-standing for me. And whenever I was standing in front of a bunch of students, they'd be checking you out, right? Okay, what shoes is he wearing?
Right.
What rock shoes is he wearing? What's his harness? And it's right there. I mean, I remember taking a guy. I did a little guiding in the summer as well, and this guy from LA who's an attorney, he wanted to climb Denali, and he had very little experience, and one thing led to another, and we got connected through my mother-in-law. And so I took him to Alaska, and we flew in for 6 days to do some glacial training and crevasse rescue and this, that, and the other. Mm-hmm. But before that, he said, which pack, which sleeping bag, what boots, what harness, this, that, and the other. So I just told him, what I was wearing and what I was using, and he bought the exact same product as me. I mean, it's funny, right?
Happens a lot. Yeah, we did. I was a river guide for 6 years, and they were always checking out our shoes. That was right when Tevas came out. So everybody's, where'd you get those Tevas? We need some of those. Yeah, they buy everything. Patagonia baggies, all of it. Yeah, the uniform.
Yeah. So, I remember he said, well, what type of sleeping bag should I get? And I said, just get a 20-degree down bag. And he'd say, well, which one? I said, well, just get a North Face 20-degree bag. He said, which one? I said, well, get a cat's meow,
Yeah.
And he said, well, which one? 20-degree down bag from the North Face. It's called the cat's meow. And if you, it'll come with a left zip and a right zip. You decide what, so it was, it was funny. I mean, the impact you can have, and the trust that he had in me was inordinate, really. And he bought the exact bag and boots and pack and harness that I suggested.
Well, because you were the pro. Yeah, it's hugely powerful because you were the pro. You were living it every day. So he knew 2 things. He knew, one, that bag was going to keep him warm because it kept you warm. And the second thing is he knew it was going to last because you were doing it every day. He wasn't going to do it every day, but, so that's huge, So good on you for coming up with that idea. You guys have, I think your site says you have over 21 team members now, 28 if you include the dogs. What's what do you attribute all that growth to over the years? Obviously, it's just the nature of the industry growing, but you guys are doing something right.
Well, I think that's a good question. And we listen to our brands for sure. So we have about 120 give or take brands on the site.
Wow.
And when we pitch a brand, when I pitch the brand, I do a lot of the biz dev. We tell them that we are, an extension of their sales and marketing team, and we will represent them as best as we possibly can, and we will make sure that we do things right, we do things efficiently with them and for them, and lo and behold, they believe me, So I think we're doing something right because we have some incredible brands on the site, like
all the major ones,
Hardware and Sportiva and Scarpa and Osprey, Dynafit, a lot of killer brands.
Right.
We are actually a team who walk the talk. I mean, most of us in the office here are often seen outside climbing or paddling or riding bikes or hiking, you name it. And, we're all authentic, right? And we take that authenticity of climbing, boating, whatever it is, into the business, and we do what we say we're going to do.
That's key. Yeah, you got to walk the talk. Yeah. And you've expanded across quite a few different activities, right? You're not just traditional, what we call traditional outdoor hiking, camping, backpacking. You do fishing and all kinds of other stuff now, right?
Yeah, we do a little bit of fishing. We're dabbling. We're putting our toe in the water, so to speak, there. And it's interesting because when I started this thing, I just went to the brands that I trusted.
Right.
And then I had history with, be it Sportiva rock shoes, be it Scarpa, backcountry ski boots, be it camp climbing equipment, you name it, right?
Yeah,
so
sure,
those are the brands that I pursued. And then, one thing led to another. It's like, oh, we need first aid kits. So I'd go to Adventure Metal Kits and Chris Gubera, right? I remember him. And then other brands started coming to us from other demographics. So we'd have some bike brands come to us because they saw the opportunity to reach a new demographic, or stand-up paddleboards, for example, or fishing, as you said. So it's a great opportunity for brands to get in front of pros who are truly influential, and that's really what we do.
That's interesting. So how many brands do you work? How many pro members do you have these days?
Well, as I mentioned, we have about 120 brands, and we're adding brands slowly but surely. We're pretty methodical about who we add. We're not trying to get everybody. In footwear, for example, we have 4, 5, 6 brands. There's probably 300 footwear brands out there in the industry, but for our reach and our demographic, it's key that we have great, rock shoes, great running shoes, great ski boots, AT boots, and the like, and the same with packs, right? And then in the world of pros, currently we have about 130,000 approved and authenticated pros in our database.
Wow.
And I know it's a lot.
That's huge.
Well, it's interesting because people, have that reaction. And it's a lot of work because we authenticate every single person. And then at 12 months, we ask people to renew their membership, and we'll send them an email and we'll say, hey, Rick, your membership is expiring soon. Please update, some new documentation that tells us they are still working in the industry.
Right.
And if you don't respond, we'll send you another one in 2 weeks. And we'll do it a little bit tongue-in-cheek, right? Be like, Rick, come on now. Send us that note. And then if you don't, we will bump you out of the database, and you won't be able to log in and buy from us. So
that's good. That keeps it legit. Yeah.
Totally. And that's our promise, and our commitment to the brands, right?
Right.
We're not going to have 400,000 pros in the database, and 50, 60, 70% of them are not authentic.
Right,
so that's our commitment.
No, that's
really
awesome.
is.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
And I think you just recently launched the Dirtbag Dreams blog. Is that right? What kind of content lives there? That sounds pretty cool.
It is a cool name. We came up with that a little while ago. And so on the blog, Dirtbag Dreams, we talk about product, of course, right? And we test product, and we'll review product and put a lot of information up there on some of the products that we have on the site, and that's been useful for pros and anybody else, but also there's information on there and stories on there about our pros, what they do, and
cool.
Where they're going, and the gear they're using on their trips and expeditions. So it's pretty cool, and a lot of people, as you know, Rick, a lot of people who are spending time in the outdoors, they're phenomenal photographers.
Yeah.
So we have some great imagery up there. So it's pretty entertaining. Maybe take a peek.
I haven't checked it out yet. I'll check it out. Yeah, I think when we first scheduled this, it wasn't up yet. But yeah, now that it's up, I'll check it out. We're going to take a little break and give some love to our episode sponsor, Creative Live. We'll be right back. Level up your creative game for free today with Creative Live and their amazing selection of live and on-air classes. With over 1,500 curated classes in photography and video, money and life, craft and maker, art and design, and music and audio, there is something for everyone. Watch their on-air broadcast for free or buy a class and own the content for life. Go to theoutdoorbizpodcast.com/creativelive and start building creative skills from the world's top experts today. Now, back to the show. And so, Pro Deals seem to be more widely available than they were back in the day when I was a sales guy. And it seems like some of these brands use it as a proactive sales channel. They aggressively go after that. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, that's a great question. And as you heard, one of the things that every single person at the office here is committed to is authenticity for Outdoor Prolink. And one of the things that we're seeing is the additional sales channel, right, that some so-called pro programs are resting their laurels on are big numbers, and our commitment is really to 100% to authenticity. And I have a list here. I'll bring it up. I'll read it to you. So these are the people, right, that we approve membership for. So they work for an outdoor brand, Eagle Creek, for example, or Marmot, or Hardware, or Arc'teryx. They sell outdoor gear, so that they work at a store. They require technical outdoor gear to do their job, so they could be a mountain guide or a Grand Canyon raft guide or similar. They might work as an outdoor educator. They might be working for Colorado Outbound or NOLS. Right. They might be an advocate for the outdoor industry, like POW. And protect our winters. They might work in environmental conservation. So, that's our demographic. It's very clean cut, very specific. We don't, approve influencers. We don't approve enthusiasts or experts or hobbyists, right? Gotcha. We don't approve people in outdoor clubs or students, right, of Outward Bound or NOLS, instructors, absolutely.
So you truly have to be a pro. You got to be a pro working.
You really
in the space.
do, and
that's great.
So as you can imagine, for us to have 130,000 people in our database, and there are people always coming in, they need to be verified and approved. But there's also at the other end of the database, people who've been members for 11 and a half, 12 months, those people are dropping out. So we have a 3-person membership team who authenticate new pros, and then they're trying to renew pros who are still working in the industry. So it's a commitment. It's a lot of work. But, we're standing by that.
That's great. Yeah, that's good. Now, what about your plans for the future? You got anything going on? You expanding into other products?
Other products, other verticals. I mean, we, as you touched on, we're trying to get into a little bit more fishing, because a lot of pros these days are taking up fishing, and there's an opportunity to expand there. A lot
of fly fishing guys,
the hunt and fish market is significant, and there's thousands of pros who are hunting pros and fishing guides out there. So that is a demographic that we are going into currently, and there's a lot of crossover. That man or that woman who's a fishing guide in Colorado, in Montana, he or she likely owns a tent. So why wouldn't they want to buy a big Agnes tent or a bag from Hardware, for example? So that's really a great vertical for us. And bike is another area that we have a little bit of exposure there. In a good way. But, with the effects of COVID, there's no inventory right now. So we're pulling back a little bit there. So, it's interesting.
How has COVID directly impacted you guys? Are you working remote?
Oh, yeah. Well, our last day in the office in 2020, I remember it. Imagine this, Friday the 13th.
Oh, wow.
Friday the 13th.
Yeah.
that news hit us like a Mack truck, and
Yeah.
Joe Kleider, who's our CTO, he and I share an office here, and he looked around and said, "Hey, we gotta go work from home here. We gotta work remote." So fortunately, we already had most of the tools in place so that we could work remote, and everybody, or almost everybody, had a laptop. So we sent everybody home, and then we've been using, Zoom for our calls on Mondays and Wednesdays, and it's tough. It's been really tough, and sales dropped off completely.
Plummeted.
Really did. It plummeted in March and April last year, and fortunately, people realized that one thing they could do was go outside.
Yep.
So we saw, and there's a lot of people still working in the outdoor industry, and they started buying some product in May and June and July last year, and so we fared. We were okay, that there were a lot of warehouses, warehouses closed. So we saw a lot of challenges last year.
I'll bet.
And we're about to bring everybody back to the office. Last week, we had a couple of new people start, and we had a little shindig last Wednesday.
Cool. Nice.
Most people are vaccinated, and then we went out for happy hour at 4 to the local brewery here. And so we're coming back, slowly but surely.
Good for you. And you yourself are still getting outside. What outdoor activities do you guys participate in, you and your family? Probably all of them, right? You got all the toys.
I still climb. I still rock climb with a bunch of buddies here in town, and paddle a little bit, not as much as I used to, and ride the mountain bike and ski. And my son is actually super excited. He's going on a NOLS course, a NOLS Alaska Mountaineering 30-day NOLS Alaska Mountaineering course here in June. So he's fired up. So I've been getting outside with him, and then my daughter, who's 21, she did a bunch of rock climbing, about 5 years ago. Was just a better rock climber than me, and she's just like, Dad, I'm not going to do this anymore, and it crushed me,
Oh yeah.
And then my youngest, Joy, she's 14, and she and I are voracious skiers. So she's a phenomenal skier.
Good for you.
And so then my wife and I, we all camp and run and bike and love the
Colorado life. You're living the Colorado life.
There you go. That's us.
That's good. Do you have any suggestions or advice for folks wanting to get into the outdoor adventure biz?
Well, I think pick your companies, pick the companies that you want to associate with, and pick them carefully and figure out why, because not all the companies are the same. I think it's important to dig a little bit and figure out what their values are. And I think, people ask us, what's our values, what's our mission? And our mission is really to get people into the outdoors wearing product that's high quality and can protect them, when they're doing these activities. And I think, I came across, so I'll read it. I have something here. So I'm going off script here a little bit.
That's all right.
What I do, right? So last
there is no
night
script. We're winging it.
My wife and I, this is honest. This is a true story. So last night, my wife and I were getting books off the shelves. We're having these shelves painted, doing some work, and she pulled out this Prescott College catalog of resident degree programs from 1999.
Wow, cool.
So check this out. So this is comment on Gareth Richards, Faculty of Adventure Education, right? So this is what I said in 1999. I believe that Prescott College offers students a unique opportunity to develop the whole person, an outdoor ethic, respect for the wilderness, and exposure to the wildness within each of us. And if you look at our mission on Outdoor Prolink on the website right now, is very similar to that.
Interesting.
And I could just change 2 words here, right? I could say, I believe that outdoor Prolink offers pros a unique opportunity to develop the whole person, an outdoor ethic, respect for the wilderness, and exposure to the wildness within each of us. So,
wow, now
it's pretty cool. I mean, so
did you write
the
that?
Advice I'd have.
Did you write that?
No.
Did you write that? Remembering that what you wrote at Prescott, or did you forget about it and just?
I completely forgot about it.
Wow.
And she pulled it off the bookshelf last night.
So that's truly ingrained in your being. That's awesome.
Isn't it?
That's cool.
It's awesome.
Yeah, that's great.
So my advice is, to anybody who's entering the outdoor adventure biz is do your homework, right? And align yourself with brands, with companies who have the same values as you.
That's true. That's good. That's well said.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
So of all that gear that you have that you get to play with and review, what is your favorite piece of outdoor gear under $100?
Oh my God. I have so many. But what's my newest, latest, and greatest favorite is a Grayl. That's the brand. Grayl.
Yep.
It's water purifier, and it's pro deal is probably $55 or something, right? And it's probably $80, $85 retail. We went to Costa Rica over Christmas as a family, and I brought this with me, and we sell it on Prolink. And one of the things, we did a bunch of hiking, and I would dip this thing into any stream in Costa Rica and push down on the water filtration and drink it right there and then. And
I've heard lots of great things. Didn't ever once get any sort of sickness. So that's my current absolute favorite. That's good. I'm working to get the founder of that brand on the show, so that's coming in the future.
Good.
Yeah, she'll be great. Yeah, that's a great product.
Oh, good.
Yeah. As we wrap up, is there anything else you want to say or ask of our listeners?
Well, if you're working in the outdoor industry, come to outdoorprolink.com.
Yeah, of course.
Register. If you're not working in the outdoor industry, roll into your local and your favorite outdoor store and spend your money with those guys, because they're a unique breed for sure, and help support those those stores for sure.
That's well said. Yep, and they're very knowledgeable. You guys are, and they are. So yep. Learn all you can. And where can people find you if they want to follow up with you?
Well, the website is outdoorprolink.com, and my email is Gareth, Gareth, Gareth at outdoorprolink.com.
Cool.
And take a look at the blog, dirtbagdreams.com, and shoot us an email. Give us a call over here, and let's chat anytime.
Sounds good. We'll link to all that stuff in the show notes. Yeah. And it's been great catching up. I look forward to seeing you in a couple weeks. A couple months, actually.
Thanks, Rick.
Yeah, at the show. That'd be great. Yeah,
for sure.
All right, man. Well, we'll talk soon.
Thank you for joining us on another episode of the Outdoor Biz Podcast. Be sure to visit our website, theoutdoorbizpodcast.com, where you'll find show notes with links to everything we talked about and more. Subscribe to the show on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts so you'll never miss an episode. And while you're at it, if you found value in this show, we'd appreciate a rating on iTunes. Or spread the word and tell a friend about the show. That would really help us out too. Be sure to tune in every week. And thanks again for listening to the Outdoor Biz Podcast with Rick Saez.